It was in July 1999 when I, for the first time, walked into the office of NIFT, a very prestigious design institute of India. I had applied for a job at a newly opened branch of the institute. I was sitting in the reception area, calm and poised, trying my best not to give away any signs of my extreme nervousness. My file was on my lap and my portfolio leaned against the side of the sofa. A very friendly PR girl asked me, "Would you like to have a coffee?" And I, for the first time in my life, said no to coffee. A few minutes later, the phone on her desk rang and she said, "You may go in now." I went in, knocked at the door marked Vinay Behel Centerhead. "Please come in," he said, and then signaled me to take a seat. After a few formal courtesies, a series of familiar questions started coming my way. And soon, I was talking in my most confident voice. After all, I love designing. And this scenario? Oh, I had rehearsed it in my mind almost 1,000 times. Our discussion went on for about half an hour. Then he leaned back on his chair a bit and said, "You have a very impressive portfolio, I must say, and I really like your confidence. But the problem is that corporate wants us to hire people from metro cities. I'll put your name down on the waiting list and we'll give you a call as soon as we have something for you." I stood up, shook hands with him, and walked out with a smile that was bold enough to mask my inner turmoil. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest, this was not my first encounter with the pain of being put on a waiting list. I had wanted to become an architect, so in my school days, I worked really hard on my grades to qualify for one of the best colleges of the country. I belong to a small city in India, not one of those well-known towns like New Delhi and Bombay. So for me, going to this college was like the ambition of a young child born in a village in Cyprus, aiming to go to Cambridge. I lived in a small town, so I had limited resources for specialized preparations. But despite all odds, I went ahead and I cleared the entrance exams. I worked my way through the workshop test, and then I gave the final interviews. And when the result list was declared, my name was there, but on the waiting list. My hopes came down like a house of cards, and I felt like a loser. It was at that time that I learned a very important lesson in life. I learned that we can never change the direction of the wind, nor control it. But what we can do is adjust the sails on our boat to reach our destination. So I got up, brushed aside my disappointment, adjusted my sails, and went and took admission in another college in my own city. 3 years of constant hard work, and I was a topper at the university. One of a well-known architect instantly offered me the internship. I was sure now my journey would be onward and upward. So that day, at the interview, when I was not selected on the basis of the city where I studied, I felt like being caught in a web of inferiority. It was like history repeating for myself. I wanted to give up. I wanted to run away. But I'm a very stubborn girl. I don't believe in giving up. So I started thinking, what could I do to adjust the sails and reach my destination? I went to the organization again with an offer of voluntary help in their workshops and lectures. The boss happily agreed to it. After all, I wasn't asking for a salary. One full month, I worked with extreme dedication. I did not earn any money, but what I did earn was a chance to showcase my skills to the management. And finally, I got what I had set out for, an appointment letter as a full-time trainer of the institute. You see, magic happens when you don't give up. The universe always falls in love with a stubborn heart. Life became good. I was being appreciated for my work, and in 2 years' time, I was due for a promotion as the department head. Then again, when I had least expected, the waiting list came back in my life. Suddenly, a new girl was appointed the head of the department. And guess what was her merit point? She came from London. You know, the posh background. The irony of the whole thing was that I was assigned the task to help her settle down. I was so tempted to be mean. I wanted to be perfidious to her. But then, I wasn't any good at it. So I did what I was good at doing, not giving up. I helped her with full sincerity in understanding the ways of the organization and how the curriculum worked. Because deep down, I believed that no posh background could be a replacement for my dedication and for my skills. 3 months, and the management understood the same. Resilience helped me achieve my goal. These are just a few examples when life has shut a door for me. At such times, it was easy to walk away. But I have always believed in reaching out and trying to open that door again. After all, it's a door, and that's how the doors work. The waiting list of my life have always taught me not to give up. Instead, to infuse our lives with action, because it is only us who can make things happen for ourselves. It's 18 years now, and I still work online with an IFT. And every summer, when I go back to India and visit the office, I am reminded of this beautiful journey through the waiting list. And it always gives me the strength to carry on, to go ahead again. This year, when I walked into the office, there was a new reception girl sitting there, and she asked, "May I know your name, please?" And I told her. And suddenly, she got up and exclaimed, "Oh, so you are the Richa man who Vinay sir keeps mentioning." One line from her, and I felt I had earned the reward of my 18 years of hard work. It was a moment of sheer bliss for me. And I felt, today, I have made my way up from the waiting list to the main list. Fellow Toastmasters, dear guest, many times in your life, destiny might put you in a situation where you are placed on a waiting list. At such times, don't walk away, don't give up. Because it really doesn't matter if you're starting a race as an unknown. What really matters is your courage, your determination, and your aim to finish the race unforgettable. Mr. Toastmaster.